So, you talk a lot about the Matrix. They're trapping me. They're attacking me. Who is the Matrix?
The Matrix is have you seen the movie?
I have.
Okay, so in the movie The Matrix, we're in a computer-controlled reality, right? They've projected a false reality into people's minds to entertain them while their bodies are being exploited by the machines. And it's very similar here in the real world. You are inside of a reality which is false. It doesn't necessarily have to be computer-controlled, but it's certainly media-influenced.
But who controls it?
The people who are behind the media machine, the people who are in charge of the world, which are also behind the governments. And the point I'm making when I say the Matrix is they will tell you false versions of reality. They will tell you things that simply aren't true so that you believe in lies to keep yourself and your mind distracted while your body is being exploited for work. And it's exactly the same thing as the movie itself. We can sit and discuss and go through conspiracy theories of who I believe these people are. But the truth is, you have to understand there's very influential people out there in the world with massive amounts of money, massive amounts of influence.
Yeah.
And they're trying to push certain agendas and ideals on the population because why wouldn't they?
But I kind of want to know, who do you think they are?
Yeah, you said you might know. Is that true?
You guys are going to try and get me suicided. You're gonna try and get me in
Because
trouble.
I feel like you know a lot more than we would know
Yeah,
about
it
the whole
sounds
Matrix system. So who do you think is behind it?
Well,
you
I know a lot more than I even say. But let me give you a simple example of it, right? So if you have a company, you have a podcasting business, let's say.
Okay.
If you hire a member of staff who doesn't agree with you and doesn't do as you say and doesn't listen to you, you're going to fire him.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to want people to listen to you because you're in charge and you have influence. So if there's people who print money and they're literally in charge of banks and in charge of governments and they own the world, whatever they believe, whatever their influence, whatever their worldview is, they want to purport that and propagate that on the population, on the planet. And that's what happens where we have these ideas which are very heavily defended and certain ideas which are not allowed to be discussed, and a false reality which exists in which conversations cannot be open, dialect cannot be open, certain things must be accepted as fact, certain things can't be discussed at all. And this all comes from the top. This is not an accident. This comes from very powerful people trying to push a worldview on the populace.
Do you think Bill Gates is part of the Matrix?
I think that Bill Gates is an extremely rich, influential person who certainly has had a role to play in certain agendas across the last few years.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of, you're thinking of it more as a small select room of people who are trying to control their world like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It could be like that, but it's not like that. What it is you have very influential people with a lot of power, with a lot of resource, who are interested in creating slave minds amongst the general populace because they don't want to upset their very fortunate position in the world.
Yeah.
So there is a genuine and obvious agenda to attack masculinity as a whole, for example. The idea of masculinity, they like the idea of that being attacked. There's also obvious attempts to accelerate certain other ideas, whether, especially in the West, right?
Yeah.
The idea of children changing gender or putting sex in children's movies like Disney, etc. This is not conspiracy theories. This is all very obvious.
Yeah.
People are pushing these agendas and they're pushing them for a reason. And it's very powerful people who are doing it, and they're trying to destroy the morality and certainly the resolve of the general populace, the general people, because they want to keep their very fortunate positions, and that's what's happening.
So, like, these people, are they like public figures, or they're pretty low-key people?
You're still thinking of it as in regards to who the people are, and I understand why you're asking that question. I think you just need to understand that the people who are truly in charge of the world are sitting and saying, what is most advantageous to us?
Yeah.
Is it more advantageous to us if people are semi-depressed, self-obsessed, selfish, don't care about their neighbor, have no morality, atheistic, and will absorb anything they're told without any kind of resistance? Or is it better for us if they think for themselves and they're critically thinking and they believe in religion and they want to do good to God? And the truth is, in the West at least, it's the first answer to the things they're interested in. And I don't think these people are publicly known. I don't think they're well known. No, I think there's families that have been in charge of the world for a very long time.
And they put like faces up front so they don't...
Puppets.
They put puppets in front completely. And these people are beyond money. Like even during the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people were saying, oh, I agree, Andrew, it's all a scam. They're doing it for money. And I said, no, that's a very optimistic way to look at the world. They're not doing it for money. These people are beyond money.
They have enough money.
They print money. They don't care about money. It's about power. It's about control. It's about influence. And it's about having enough people do as you say regardless. And it's an interesting time of humanity we're living in, because now we have the internet, and there's supposed to be free speech, but there's certainly more free information. And I feel like a lot of people's minds are slowly waking up to the fact that a lot of the things you're told on the traditional news is a lie. The traditional media machine is nothing but a propaganda machine. And they're trying very hard to still keep control over us and keep influence over us. And they're doing that by especially with the way societies work, especially with the way relationships work, with the way the children go to school. Certain things they're keeping a very tight grip on because they know it's very important for their power and their propaganda machine.
All right, you said one thing. You were like, how nowadays